Sean McVay has a dominance over these two teams in a way that those coaches simply don't. He's 5-2 all-time versus Seattle. He's 6-0 all-time versus Arizona. And the Cardinals, particularly, he lights them up. They score 32.5 points. The stat you're seeing all week is that McVay coach teams are 32-0 if they're leading at halftime. This year's Rams team is not last year's or even the Super Bowl's team. They're truly a defensive team. They're led by Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams and Leonard Floyd. And I can list all the names, including Jordan Fuller, who had 2 interceptions there. But McVay is okay with that. You know how, think about ego and pride, and I'm an offensive mastermind, and I'm the next great offensive play caller. I'm going to take the backseat on that, lean on our defense, and allow that be the lead story here. I think McVay gives them the edge. I really do. He is a combined 11-2 all-time against Arizona and Seattle. He's got to face those guys 3 times the rest of the way. I think the Rams have the edge, and it's because of the man calling the plays and now allowing the defense to be the ones leading the way.
All right. Well, I'll speak on as the only person to pick the Rams to win the NFC West. Nate, I think I'm up next, but maybe it's you. Who knows? Home shows, they're back. I love it. Yeah, listen, I'm kind of on the same note with Peter. I think you think of the Rams, and you're like, yeah, Jared Goff, he's fine. Never mind Jared Goff. Jared Goff is going to golf, and that's just what he is. I think it's McVay. If you trust Sean McVay to have enough offense down the stretch, then you're home free. You are home free because the defense isn't even close. This is like one of the best defenses, never mind the division, in football, sports fans, in all of football. They have what matters, and it gets cold and it gets intense, the defense. So if you're going to sit here and say, I don't think they have enough offense, that's fine, but I would not bet against McVay. Did you see the clinic that Woods and Cup put on the other night? They have it going. They will win it. And I just have to say, Kay, their special teams coach last year was John Fossil. You hinted at this tale earlier in the show. What the hell happened with John Fossil?
This was like
Come on.
a million years ago. I was in Manhattan Beach. I was living there for the off season, and I knew him from back in Rams days, Part 1, St. Louis, and I was literally walking on the beach, and there was a full-on Baywatch rescue happening, except instead of like babes in red swimsuits, it was John Fossil in the water, pulling a guy out onto the beach, brought him back to life, and like kept on walking. And I was like, "Sup, Bones? What's happening?" And I kept walking. True story.
Awesome.
Maybe it's out there. I'll look. I'll look if it's actually out there. I think I told this story on this very show before. Shriggs, I told this story, haven't I?
I don't remember.
You have. He rescued someone right out of the waters, made a save, and last night wasn't as successful.
Not as successful.
That's all right.
What do you think, Nate?
It's ironic because the Cowboys are drowning in their own misery right now. But when it comes to the NFC West, I just saying, let's keep it real. That's what we do here on the show. I love all you Dallas Cowboys fans out there. It's just not your year. But when it comes to the NFC West, I respect the Rams. I hear what you're saying, Shrek. Sean McVay's a legend. And that stat, until he loses a game after leading at halftime, to me is the wildest stat in all of football. And the fact that he's won 32 games, 32-0 after leading at halftime. Kyle, you're right. The defense is phenomenal. But thank God for the schedulers, because the people who have made the schedule, they are allowing us to watch this come down to the wire. And it will. And it's okay for the NFC West to go week to week. We said it before the season that this was the best division in all of football. Of course, San Francisco excluded. They just had a terrible run when it came to the injury bug and COVID. So the 3 teams that are still in it, the Rams, of course, they have the experience. Sean McVay, he almost got to the mountaintop and won that ring. Seattle, we know if they get into the playoffs, they're as dangerous as anybody. And don't count out the Cardinals. They have flipped over the table a few times this season and beat teams they weren't expected to. So I still look at Kyler Murray and the quarterback as the quarterback for the Cardinals, and Russell Wilson as a quarterback for the Seahawks as 2 guys you just cannot count out.
Well said. Rams special teams coordinator 2015, it was July, helped save the life of a man drowning in the Pacific Ocean last week by battling a riptide. Pulled the man to safety. I was an eyewitness. Bones, we love you. Okay, let's bring in, I'm sure Ian Rappaport didn't know this story either. I'm just glad to share it and shine some light this day after Thanksgiving. Ian, this got weird in a hurry. Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens, COVID-19, Lamar Jackson. What's up?
Yeah, some new information this morning on not Lamar Jackson, but the other Ravens players who tested positive. From what I understand, Lamar's positive test, which came back last night around 6 or 7 p.m., I don't know, some point during dessert for Thanksgiving, whenever that was. There were several other Ravens players who also tested positive. In fact, there are now 4 positive tests that the NFL is looking at contact tracing for, trying to see who else is at risk, who would potentially be a high-risk close contact, who needs to be quarantined and removed from the team, and how this team can somehow be kept safe. And, you know, Calais Campbell, the all-pro for the Baltimore Ravens, just responded to a tweet from colleague Tom Pelissero, actually, basically saying, we just want this contained. Nobody wants to get the virus. The hope now is just the Baltimore Ravens can get a handle on this outbreak inside their facility. The game for Sunday against the Steelers is, as of right now, still on. Ravens are not going to be full strength. They're not going to be the only team this season that's played without some of their star players due to COVID-19. But nothing is perfect in 2020, so this may end up having to be.